today we're going to finish up talking about communication styles. To be a good communicator, you have to be an effective listener. So we're going to talk about the listening process today. So the listening process refers to taking steps to fully understand and retain the information being taught, receiving the information, understanding the information, evaluating it, remembering it, responding to it. You need to be able to receive the information being taught. You have to receive it. You have to hear it. You need to be able to understand it, comprehend it, evaluate it. What do I need to get out of this? Remember it. You need to be able to recall it and then respond to it. So receiving the information involves just hearing and attending. Hearing is the ability to register sound waves as they hit the eardrum. Attending is the process of identifying and interpreting particular sounds as words. The sounds we hear have no meaning unless we put them in proper content. Newborns, they hear you talking. They hear you're smiling and you're right in front of them and you're making all these sounds to them. But until they're a little older and able to put those things in the proper content, they're just sounds. They're not actually words yet. Understanding. The process the listener goes through to determine the context and the meaning of the words they hear. Understanding is essential to comprehending a speaker's message. You must be able to understand, to comprehend what the message is about. This is a class about relationships. If you come in here, and all we talk about is relationships, yet you walk in, and I have a geometry test on your table, would you understand the test?
No.
It would make no sense. It would be completely out of context. That's not what we do. That's not what we talk about. If you go to a seminar on early childhood development, yet they're teaching you how to make McDonald's fries, does it make sense? No, it's completely out of context. Evaluating. The process the listener takes to assess the information received. This stage is only effective once the listener fully understands what the speaker is trying to say. You can only evaluate something, you can only examine something once you understand the message. It allows the listener to form an opinion about what's heard. You need to be able to evaluate what's the important parts that are taken away. How does this personally affect me? How does this affect the decisions that I make? Does this influence my beliefs and my values? We talk about your relationships with your parents and your significant others and your friends all of the time. The things they say to you, how they treat you, the way they communicate, helps you form personal ideas on who you are, make decisions about what you want, helps you form your beliefs. So you have to evaluate those things. You're always evaluated. It never stops. Remembering occurs as the listener categorizes, retains the information gathered from the speaker, allows the individual to record the information about the individuals, the speaker, the objects, the events, and then later recall this. This occurs during the speech and after. So here, you guys are going to have to do a speech. I'm going to expect you to recall the things that we're talking about today. I'm going to expect you guys to be able to recall the things we've talked about all this year about effectively communicating, how you display yourself, how you're supposed to speak, how you should dress, speaking etiquette. Listeners, you're going to be taking notes from some of the speeches. We have a presentation next week. You guys are going to have notes. You're going to have to retain the information that he says. You're going to have to recall those things back. Responding. The stage with the listener provides verbal and nonverbal reactions to the message. Nonverbal reactions include nodding, making eye contact, smiling, and body language. Some of you guys, I understand and I know when you're on task with me. You smile, you make good eye contact. Your body language says you're okay. I ask a question, you'll nod your head. Sometimes, though, I can tell when you're not on task with me, or you're not following along, or don't understand something, because you look a little confused. Your eyebrow may go up, your posture change, your body language change. So this lets me know that maybe I need to go back and clarify some things. Maybe I need to go back and reteach some things. Maybe you didn't get something. Maybe I went too fast. So I can repeat what was said. So there's two types of listeners. There's the active listening and then there's passive. So active listening requires retaining the information and applying it. At school, you guys are given what after each unit? A test. We expect you to retain the information and then take the test. That's how we know when you get those things. In oral comm, you guys, the teacher knows if you understood how to effectively communicate, if you understand good speech writing, by the way you present yourself during the speech. I will know how you understood the information given, on how you respond to the speech, how you demonstrate yourself, the notes that you guys take on the speeches, the quizzes that you guys get. I'll be able to know those things. You provide feedback. Your test scores are feedback. The way you give your speech, those are feedback. Active listening has the ability to improve relationships, reduce misunderstandings, strengthen cooperation, and foster understanding. How do you guys think active listening can strengthen a personal relationship? How does it make things better?
Communicate what you want, maybe?
You communicate what you want. You tell them what you need. What was that, Zion?
They both are talking to each other.
They're talking to each other. This is what I want. This is what I need. This doesn't work for me. Reduce misunderstandings. Maybe I said something in the way that you just didn't appreciate. So if I go to you and say, hey, I noticed that when I said this, you didn't like it. Or I noticed I made you feel this way. What can I do to make this better? How can we fix this? It can strengthen cooperation and foster understanding. Now we're on the same page. We both understand what's going on. I know what you need. You know what I need. We can both make an informed decision because we actively listened to each other. We understood from each other what was needed. Passive listening involves taking the information with little or no outward reaction. When you're talking to your friends, you're usually in passive listening form. When you don't really show a whole lot of outward reaction. You don't have to be over dramatic with your friends. They understand. You have an intimate relationship. They know you better. Involves showing engagement through facial expressions and body language. Some of you guys don't have to say a word. You make a face and they know. Body language. If you can tell if someone likes something or dislikes something. In communication, if you're talking to someone and during the conversation, their arms are folded and they're not making eye contact. They're looking at other things. They appear uninterested. They appear closed off. So nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communications are the messages which are sent through the body and facial expressions. You don't have to say a word. Your body and your face says it all. It helps establish credibility with the audience. The way you're responding, the way you display yourself, you build that relationship with your audience. has the potential to send messages opposite of what's trying to be communicated. Now look at the two people that are sitting here. Her arms are folded, yet he's smiling. Are they enjoying the conversation? Can you tell?
Yeah, I'm feeling that.
You can tell he is enjoying it. He is enjoying
It appears that he's enjoying it, but you can't really tell that she's enjoying it. It doesn't look like they're on the same page. Her arms are folded, yet he's smiling. She appears closed off. He looks interested in the conversation. So nonverbal communication, eye contact, facial expressions, gestures, posture, body orientation, proximity, paralinguistics, humor. So how many of you guys have heard the expression, you can trust them because they look you, I can trust them because they didn't look me in the eye. You want good eye contact. You want to be able to trust the person that you're saying, that you're talking to. You want to feel like they're interested genuinely in the conversation. Facial expressions. If I'm pouring my heart out to you, but you're steady smiling, it appears that either you're not understanding or you're just not interested. Posture and body orientation. You're talking to me, but my back is turned. My arms are folded. Proximity. You're talking to me about something intimate, yet you're saying it from the other side of the room. So with your eye contact, it establishes credibility with their audience. People want to know that you're sincere. They need to know that you're genuinely there and you care. That you're interested in the conversation as well. Help spark interest in the topic. Creates an inviting atmosphere for the audience. When you guys come down the hall, teachers are lined up outside the door. We're greeting you. We're saying good morning. But if you come up to me and you tell me good morning and I turn my back to you, was that inviting? If you say good morning, Ms. Easton, I say, what's good about it? Do you want to go on in class? No. Facial expressions. A simple smile can go a long way. A smile means that you're invited, you're happy, you're genuinely interested in your audience. If I'm giving a speech to you about being your best self, yet I look sad and I'm crying the entire time, did that motivate you to be your best self? No. Do you believe that I believe you can be your best self? No. Facial expressions can provide feedback on the information being communicated. If you look confused during your conversation, then that lets me know, I need to go back. Maybe I need to re-explain something. Maybe I need to clarify something. Gestures. Gestures are required in communication. Otherwise, the speaker seems unanimated and boring. Should be used appropriately to emphasize words or phrases. Creates a more interesting appearance. Cheerleaders are the best people to use gestures. When they're out there cheering and they're on the sideline and they're saying, shoot the ball, shoot the ball. Is that interesting? But when they're clapping and they're stomping and they're doing the animation, their tones are higher. It creates an atmosphere where everybody wants to participate. In new hire training, they went around the room and in your best teacher voice, you had to introduce yourself. And there were some teachers that were amazing on it. I mean, hi, I'm Katie, I'm the cheer coach. I'm new to the district. I'm looking really forward to working with each of you guys. I'll come see you shortly. But I'm just so blessed to be here. I thought, oh, she's excited. But then they came around to some people that was like, my name's Joe, and I've been here 10 years, and yeah, that's it. They didn't emphasize their words. They seemed to be unbothered. They were boring. There was no animation. It made me believe maybe they don't like it here. body orientation. It can communicate countless things by just simply walking, talking, standing, sitting. We walk the rooms. We make sure that you guys are paying attention, making sure that you're on task. If you're talking to me about something, sometimes I need to stand up. If you're standing up, I should stand too. Or at least offer you the seat. It helps to be interested where the speaker appears approachable and friendly, not distant and rude. When you walk up to me, I take a step back. That means it looks like I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to hear what you're saying. It's rude. It can be distracting. When you guys are giving your speech about who you are, I don't want you up there rocking back and forth and pacing and moving. It's distracting. I can't focus on what you're saying because you won't be still. Stand boldly. Have good posture. Speak clearly. You know who you are better than anybody else. So when you present yourself, be confident in what you say. Proximity. The distance from where the speaker is to the audience. We have the privilege here, this isn't a real big class. But if I make you all sit there and I sit at the back of the room, but one out here uninterested, there's no need for me to be at the back. I can be up, I can walk around. Now COVID has made these things a little more difficult now. We have to social distance. We need to keep 6 feet as much as possible. But before COVID, we were able to interact with each other closely, not have to worry about those things. Proximity can also differ from culture to culture. We all have those people, we've met those people who as soon as they walk up, you don't know them, but they walk up and they greet you with their, hey, bring it in, I'm a hugger, come on, give it to me. Are all of you guys huggers? If you're a hugger, raise your hand. One hugger in the class. So she went to each one of y'all right now, like, bring it in, give it to me. How would you feel? Uncomfortable. He said he would just look at her. It's like, wait a minute, that's not my thing. That's not what I do. I'm not a hugger. So it can differ from culture to culture, from person to person. So your proximity should be close enough for the audience to maintain your attention, but far enough not to invade their space. If I only talk to you guys, you're sitting on the back shelf, do I gauge your attention? No. So being close enough to where you get their attention, but not so close that you invade their personal territory. So look at the picture here. Man and woman, the male and the female, they're both looking at an iPad together. So the conversation between these two people, do they both look like they're enjoying the conversation? Yeah. They both seem genuinely interested in the conversation. They know each other. They're not concerned about distance. What voice do you think they should use here? Indoor or outdoor? Indoor voice. There's no need for them to sit there and yell at each other. They're literally shoulder to shoulder. Knowing when to use an indoor voice and an outside voice. Use your indoor voice when you're standing 12 to 36 inches from each other. Even in this room now, pretty big room. Is there a need for me to yell at you guys? You can hear me just fine. There's no need to yell. Know when to use what tone. When to use which type of voice, indoor versus outdoor. Paralinguistics consists of the tone, the pitch, the rhythm, the loudness, the inflection of the voice. Requires practice to reach the correct volume, tone, or pitch for a presentation. When you're up here presenting yourself to us, you don't have to talk to us like a cheerleader. We're not going to jump up and cheer with you. You're just telling us who you are. But when you're selling something, on the commercials, what do you notice about commercials?
Everybody's smiling.
They're smiling. What else?
They're like loud and upbeat.
They're loud and upbeat.
They believe what they're saying.
They believe what they're selling. In commercials, they usually make you believe this stuff. They're using the right tone. They're using the right pitch. They're using the right loudness. They practice this thing because they know that those things matter and that's what catches your attention. So you practice those things. Each presentation style will vary. So finding the appropriate tone, the appropriate pitch, the appropriate rhythm and volume is key. These are the same things can be used to convey an emotion. When you're happy versus when you're sad, do you sound the same? No. When you're upset, you want people to know it. Your tone may be a little harsher. Versus when you're happy about something, it's more upbeat. The rhythm is more upbeat. Your tone is slightly higher. Humor. Humor is discouraged in certain settings. Everything isn't funny, nor is it meant to be funny. There's a time and place for everything. Seniors, you have a meeting today in fourth period. Now, I don't know this for sure, but if the meeting is say it's about prom, and many of you guys I've heard all year long, I've heard since August, most people are really excited about prom and graduation. It's a big deal for you guys. You guys are under a lot of stress. COVID has changed everything. So to go in and break the ice, they may throw a joke out. Just to break the ice because we feel the tension that you guys feel too. We feel the stress that you're under too. So sometimes you go to meetings. You guys, you're not employed, don't you aren't employed yet. But you go to these staff meetings and they come right in with a joke. You know, someone is sneezing, they'll say, oh, that's COVID. And everybody kind of laugh a little bit and release. Sometimes humor is just a way of breaking the ice. But sometimes it's not appropriate. I'm pouring my heart out to you and you're laughing. I'm giving a speech on something. Maybe it's about grades or I'm giving you a speech at your job about how to do something. And during my speech, you're steadily laughing. You raise your hand and ask a completely inappropriate question. Those things are inappropriate. So what we're going to do for a moment is kind of recap. So to be an effective listener, what are the steps to the listening process? What are the steps to the listening process? Receiving. Understanding. Evaluating. Remembering. Responding. So, and understanding and receiving. What does it involve? What are the two things receiving information involves? In receiving, what are the two things it involves?
Hearing and attending.
Hearing and attending. You have to hear what was said. You have to attend the presentation. You have to be able to identify and interpret those things. And understanding. What is understanding in the listening process?
The process the listener goes through to determine the context and meaning of the words.
The process you go through to determine the context of what is being said. The process you go through to make sure that you understand the meaning of those things being said. It is essential, I can't stress this enough, it is essential that you understand, you comprehend the message that is being taught. Whether it's how to communicate clearly, whether in the facts department it's how to use the souls properly, you must understand whatever message is being taught. Evaluating. What is evaluating?
The process the listener takes to assess the information received from the speaker.
How do you access the information that's being given? Now you can only evaluate and fully understand something after they're done. If you don't fully understand those things, what was that?
You remember it so you can understand.
Remembering it so you can understand those things. It allows you to form an opinion. Helps you with your beliefs, your ideas. As parents, say things to you. Here at school, as teachers, we give you guys a lot of information. I'm going to know how you did on this. I'm going to evaluate you on how you understood this lesson. I'll look at your notes. I'll look at the notes you take when we have a presenter next week to see if you were effectively listening. I'll look at how you do when you give your speeches. Did you speak clearly? Did you do the things required? Did you do the things that were taught this week? Did you take good notes? Did you put those into good action? Your speeches will let me know those things. So what is remembering? What are the two things in remembering?
Categorize information gathered.
Categorizing how you retain the information. Are you able to compartmentalize? This is what I have to know. These are the most important things that were being taught in the lesson. These are the most important things from the speech. So remember, it allows you to later recall. That's what we do when we give you guys text. That's all the exam is. We give you the information. We teach the lesson. And then it's your job to recall those things back for the exam. Did they study? That's what the exam shows us. So what are the two types of listening? Active and passive. What is active listening? What is it required? Retaining and applying the information. Did you understand the information and can you apply it going forward? How you can utilize these things later on. So what can active listening help improve? Relationships. Whether it's a professional relationship, a personal relationship. Active listening helps you communicate what you need, what you do not need. What is the topic of this? What are the goals? What are we getting at? Are we working together? Are we on the same page? So with passive listening, when does it typically occur? In an informal setting. How you talk with your friends. The conversations that you have in the hall. You guys don't talk to the teachers how you talk to your friends. You're a little more formal with us. But with your friends, you're more passive. So what are some ways of nonverbal communication?
Body language.
I didn't hear you.
Body language.
Body language. What's another form of nonverbal communication? Facial expressions. What else? I didn't hear you. Eye contact. Your gestures. Humor. So what is eye contact? What does it help establish? Credibility. What does your face do? Your facial expressions, what do they do?
Set the tone for the conversation.
Set the tone. It shows your interest. And your posture. What is the thing that I do not want you to do?
Sway back and forth.
Sway back and forth. Put your head down. Not appear confident. I want you to know what you're talking about. Be clear on it. Speak loudly. Stand still. Show that you know what you're supposed to be talking about. You know who you are better than anyone else. So is humor always appropriate? No. Humor isn't always appropriate. And proximity. How close should you be to someone?
Close enough for them to, understand what you're saying.
Close enough for them to understand the message, but far enough away that they don't feel like they're invaded. Close enough to where they understand, but not so far away where they feel like you don't care. Not so close that they feel invaded, yet close enough to where your empathy shows, your sincerity shows. I think you guys are going to do well. I think you guys are going to do well. We'll finish up the the lesson on effective communication, and then you guys will give your speech and your mock interview.